Loki is a stealth frame, and in my opinion, one of the top most useful frames. He has two main builds. The first and the best is the stealth build that will allow you to be undetected by enemies and cameras, which makes him one of the best frames and only frames for spy missions. Pretty much want to take your Loki and nothing else, unless you want to play Avara. The second is a disarm build that is still good and will make your enemies around him drop their weapons or run at your team with melee attacks instead of guns, which can also be useful, but there are frames that do better things than that. So first let's go over his abilities, then we can get into his build. His passive lets him hang on the walls longer. It's not the most useful passive, but it can be kind of fun because since you can hang on the walls longer, you can shoot at enemies longer. Or if you have a Riven that needs you to kill a certain amount of enemies while hanging on the wall, you can do that easier with him. But overall, it's just a flavor passive. Then his first ability is Decoy, which will send out a copy of yourself to distract the enemy and will gather the enemy's attention to it, though they will still shoot at you sometimes if you're not invisible, because you're still another target to them. But it will sit there shooting, and like if you're by the cryopod or something in the defense mission, then they'll go after that first. His second ability is Invisibility, and it's one of the best things about Loki. This allows him to go invisible so the enemies won't target you or know you are even there if you're standing right next to them, which is pretty funny sometimes. It will also not trigger camera alarms, but lasers will still trigger if you hit them while invisible, and you can still take splash damage, so you just got to be careful about that since it makes you invisible, not invincible. Then his third ability is basically his trolling ability of Bait and Switch. It allows you to switch yourself with a unit, so you go where they were and they go where you currently were when you casted it. It can be nice if a teammate goes down in danger zone, then you can get them out of there and like switch them to where you were, and then you go into the danger zone and you're invisible, and so maybe you'll survive. It just gets them out easier, though it's mostly just used for confusing your teammates as to why they keep getting sent back, which is what mostly, if anybody casts it, just for that. Me and my friend do it all the time when we're racing to the end. We'll just keep casting Bait and Switch on each other, trying to get there first. And then his fourth and last ability is Radial Disarm. It's the key move to his second build. It just makes all the enemies in range of it drop their weapons and run after you with sticks, like they are in the Infested. It can be useful because they aren't shooting at you, so that's always a good thing. And yeah, that's his abilities, so let's get into the builds. If you don't know how or where to get any of the mods that I show in these videos, I will have a video link as to where to get most of the useful mods, because a lot of them use the same type of mods and you can get them all from the same areas. But the stealth build focuses on nothing but duration, since the longer you stealth, then the longer you are stealthed. And you don't need the prime versions of the mods that I have on. They're just slightly better, so I have them on. But since we're going for full duration, things like Continuity, Constitution, Augur Message, and Narrow-Minded are key. The downside of Narrow-Minded with the loss of range does not affect Loki at all with the stealth build, because you won't be using disarm or anything, and you don't need range to be invisible. It's not like it affects your teammates. I also had the Vigor mod in just to help me with his shields and health. It makes him a little bit tankier, a little bit more survivable. And enemy sense also I run in there just so that way I can find the enemies easier when I'm stealth, because usually I'm trying to do stealth kill chain or something, and it lets me find them easier. And it's also not needed, the enemy sense, so much. Then I have his one special augment mod called Hushed Invisibility. It makes it so while you're invisible, your primary weapon makes no sound, so you can shoot your gun right next to an enemy and they still won't know you're there, which is pretty ridiculous when you're sitting there shooting like a light machine gun right next to a grenadier or something and they just don't even know. Then I also run the Aurora mod of Energy Siphon for the bonus mod points, and so that way my energy refills passively while I'm invisible. It lets me cast invisibility much easier without energy pads. This build is best for spy missions, sabotage missions, and the like, since you won't trigger alarms, and is also useful if you just want to damage the enemy or save teammates, since you can run right up to a teammate while you're invisible and revive them, and then the enemies won't be targeting you while you're reviving them like they would your other teammates if they try to revive somebody. And just make sure you watch your invisibility meter, like it'll have a little timer on it, so that way you don't like run out of invisibility at the wrong time and then just get murdered. Then we got the Loki disarm build that some people ask for, not so much anymore since they got rid of raids, but it can be handy sometimes. It's more for harder missions that you actually have a lot of trouble with, like a defense mission or something. But usually there's a frame that does it much better. But this video is about Loki, not them, so let's focus on him. But this one focuses on range and efficiency, since disarm costs the most to cast, and you want to cast it when there are enemies with guns in the range, is so it reaches further and can disarm more enemies. So continuity, which is usually on most warframes, is not needed for this build because duration does not matter. Once they lose their guns, they don't get them back. So the most important mods are Stretch, Augur, Reach, Cunning Drift, and Overextended. These all give you more range, and the loss of strength from Overextended doesn't matter since you're not trying to kill the enemies with it. Then I have Vigor, again, to make him a little bit more tankier. It's kind of more important with this build because your invisibility doesn't last forever. And Natural Talent, just so I can disarm them faster, because it'll allow you to cast Disarm faster, just like a little bit faster, so that way it doesn't take as long. I also have Fleeting Expertise, which is also nice because it gives you more efficiency at the cost of duration, which does not matter at all with this build because you're not going invisible and stuff, you're just trying to get everybody's guns away from them. Then again, I run Energy Siphon just that way I can have some more passive energy gain over time, and Flow like the other one because you want Flow on all your frames because it allows you to have more max energy, and that's pretty important. So let's get into where to obtain Loki and the slight differences between the Prime and the non-Prime version. You can get Loki from the Hyena pack, which is the boss on Neptune planet. The Neuroptics and chassis have a 38.72% drop rate, and the systems only has a 22.56% drop rate, which there's always one part for all the frames. It's harder to get than the rest, but it shouldn't take you too many runs anyway. It usually takes about 5 runs unless you're going for a frame like Equinox to get them all. And then the blueprint you get from the market. And the Hyena pack is one of the only bosses with multiple bosses attacking at the same time. There are 4 of them altogether. One of them sends out an icicle wave after targets that will deal a significant amount of cold damage, so you just try to jump out of the way when you see the icicles coming at you or else you're going to be slowed. The yellow Hyena shoots grenades at people that do AoE damage, and he will knock you down if he hits you right with those AoE grenades, which can be kind of annoying. And he also releases a fire wave, but that's easy enough to dodge. The third Hyena just has a move where he jumps in the air and shoots bullets as he spins. He shouldn't be that hard to deal with as long as you're not that close to him. So really he should be like your last priority on killing. Then the last one is the most annoying one. He releases electricity, and the annoying part about him is that he has a constant disruption field, which drains your energy and shields while you're close to him, somewhat close to him. And he also stops your warframe abilities. He's black and blue, like he has black and then blue stripes, so you should definitely be trying to focus on him first if you can, just because he stops all your warframe abilities. He's the most annoying one of them all. Then the only difference between normal Loki and Prime Loki, besides the fashion, is that Loki Prime has 25 more base energy than normal Loki and has slightly different polarities on his mods. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I would love some feedback on what you thought of my first Warframe guide. Thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then, have a good one.